Hello class, this is Dr. Benson. This video is to do a little bit of review on your instructional strategies activity. I have gotten a couple of comments about it and I've emailed a response, but I thought if I did this video that might be a little bit more helpful. So I'm talking about the instructional strategies activity and I have it shown here on the screen. What I want to say first is that everything that we do now in this course is going to be based on what you did last week with those objectives in some way or another. Um, Last week I had you to look at this online um, tutorial from the University of Colorado. I'm going to pull that up and see if I can find it right quick. If you have not looked at this, let me see. If you have not looked at this, you need to look at it. I think last week I had you to look at Module 1 and Module 3 because Module 3 was about learning objectives. This week I asked you to look at Module 1 and Module 4. If you have the time, and I think you should make the time, you should start at Module 1, start at the introduction, do Module 1. You could actually, we're going to do them all, so it would only take you a few minutes to do them. But at a minimum, you should do the ones that I asked you to do each week. So this week you're doing this whole overview of why we're doing this alignment thing. And then I asked you to look at Module 4. When you look at Module 4, it says choosing learning activities. And why would I have you to look at something that says choosing learning activities? Because this week we're doing instructional strategies. So if you read, it's very, very short. It's only 3 pages, as you can see here. What they do, there's a handout here where they give you some learning activities that could be used for, depending on which level of blooms your objective is at. It suggests some learning activities for you. I did not require you to look at this page, but I thought that if you went through the tutorial, you might look at it on your own. Anyway, so that's that. So we're back to Module 4, and it's cut off at the top, and that's because of the way I'm recording the screen. I apologize for that. But only the title is cut off. So you go to the next page, and the way you go to the next page is here. And on the next page, it says plotting learning activities on the taxonomy table. Does this sound familiar? It ought to, because what I ask you to do is to plot your bunk activities on the Bloom taxonomy worksheet that I have provided for you. So what does that mean? I'm going to play this video and see if it gets recorded. Okay, so the Bloom taxonomy table looks exactly like this. Across the top, you have the levels of Bloom, and down the left side, and play again, you have the knowledge dimensions. You remember when you created your objectives, you associated them with knowledge dimensions? So what I'm asking you to do this week is for those 20 Bloom activities that have been assigned to your group, I'm asking you to map those. Oh, I have the table here. I'm asking you to map those activities on this Bloom's table. So if you think that the activity that you have can be used to address an objective that's in the applied domain and relates to conceptual knowledge, this is where you will put your activity. If you think this activity can support an objective at the remember level of Bloom for factual knowledge, you put your activity right here. Now you can have more than one activity per cell, and this is not a precise science. You can put this, you don't spend all night trying to figure out which column to put in, which cell to put your activity in. You know, read the 5, read the 4 down the side, and put it where you think it best fits. And we're going to do this again later in the semester, and we'll get to talk about it again. But I just want you to place your 20 on this sheet so that we can see where yours are spread out. You'll be able to say, well, are all of mine at the higher levels of Bloom? Are all of mine at the lower levels of Bloom? Do all of mine just address factual knowledge? Do some address conceptual, others procedural? And of course, the activity doesn't really talk a lot about metacognitive. So I doubt we have much here from you. So that's your Bloom taxonomy workshop. So worksheet, I'm sorry. So let's go back to the assignment. Okay. So if you read those two modules, I promise you it'll help. Now, the next thing you're going to do, and I think I'm going to stop. No, I'm going to keep going. The next thing you're going to do is look at that Gagne table. So let's do that in the textbook. If you go to your textbook, chapter 9, put this where we can see it. You have now, chapter 9 spans 2 pages, page 156 and page 157. Okay? The first column is your event column. Let's look at the title. Instructional events and the conditions of learning as they imply for the 5 learned capabilities. This is a Gagne table. These 9 things are the 9 items in the event column are Gagne's 9 events of instruction. The 5 capabilities across the top: intellectual skill, cognitive strategy, information. Got to go to the second page now to find the last 2. Attitude and motor skill. Those are the 5 learned capabilities. So we got Gagne's events in the first column, and then we got so each row corresponds to one of Gagne's events, and each column corresponds to a learned capability. Okay? Now, some of you are probably saying, what's the learned capability? Well, if we go back to the course assignment, let's see, discussion board. Yes. One of your external resources provided at the top of the table basically says, in case you're wondering why we're talking a lot about Bloom's, while the text talks a lot about Gagne's, take a look at this table. And here's, wrong table, sorry. I downloaded it already, so I wouldn't have to do it here, but I can't find it. So let me do it again. I'll just click it right here. Here is the chart. Let's see if I can make this a little bigger. I'll zoom. Okay, here we go. So here is the chart. Let me see, how do I do this? I may have to shrink it. This is because I set up my screen capture for the screencast. I set it up for not the whole screen. But anyway, if you download this comparison of learning taxonomies, what you'll see is this row is Gagne's taxonomy, right? And this row is Bloom's taxonomy. So basically what it's saying is Gagne's verbal information is comparable to Bloom's knowledge. Gagne's concepts is comparable to Bloom's comprehension. Gagne's procedures and rules goes with application. Problem solving and cognitive strategies span this analysis, synthesis, and evaluation. So what we're saying is Gagne and Bloom are talking about the same things, but they talk about them in different ways. And you'll know Bloom's covers the cognitive domain, and that's why it says cognitive in this, and this is somebody else's work, why it says cognitive over here. But we also talked about 2 other domains, the affective domain and the psychomotor domain. The affective domain is equivalent to Gagne's attitudes learned capability. The psychomotor domain is equivalent to Gagne's motor skills learned capabilities. So let's go back to the textbook. To the textbook. So here's the table. Oops, went back the wrong way. These first 3 correspond to the 5 levels of Bloom. The 5 levels of Bloom are the cognitive domain. This one applies to the affective domain, and this is the psychomotor domain. So basically what this chart tells you is what kind of activities to do if you're using Gagne's 9 events of instruction to design your lesson or your instructional unit, and your objective is in the intellectual skills category. Those are some examples of things that you would do. If your objective is in the cognitive strategy, uh, um, at the at the cognitive strategy level, basically, it gives you activities that you can do, and these are very, very general activities. They aren't specific at all, that you can do at each level of Gagne's. Same thing for information, same thing for attitude, same thing for cognitive, and for motor skills, psychomotor. So basically, doing this exercise should familiarize you with Gagne's 9 events of instruction, which we were introduced to when the first weeks in the semester when we were looking at those models. So you've seen Gagne before. Now what you're getting a chance to do is to operationalize it. Okay? Now, your assignment says for you to take those um, activities, those bunk activities, and put them on a table that's similar to this. So let's go back and look at this table. So this is your Bloom's table. In Bloom's, across the top, you have your cognitive process dimensions, or your 5 levels. Down the bottom, you got the knowledge dimensions, which are your types of knowledge. You are to create another table in Word. In this table, you can call it table 9. Your table 9.2. You can call it Gagne's table. Across the top, you're going to have the 5 learned capabilities: information, cognitive strategies. What was the third one? Let me look. Oh, that's wrong. I got so many files up. I'm kind of confused. See if I can find where I'm supposed to be. No, that's not it. That's not it. Okay, here we go. That's not it. That's not it. That's not it. Where is the file? Oh, there it is. Okay. So across the top, you will have Gagne's 5 learned capabilities, which are intellectual skills, cognitive strategies, information, um, affective, and motor skills. Those are the 5 things you'll have across the top. And down this side, you'll have 9 rows, each row corresponding to Gagne's 9 events of instruction. So row 1 will be event 1, row 2 will be event 2, row 3 will be event 3, and so forth. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're going to look at the activities that you have created or associated with bump, and you're going to say, this activity can help me accomplish uh, this step of this step of Gagne when I'm working on intellectual skills, or this step of Gagne when I'm working on motor skills, or this step of Gagne when I'm working on attitude skills. So this is what I'm asking you to do. And once again, this is not a science. I don't want you to spend hours and hours late at night making sure that you put these in the right cell. The idea is just for you to begin to place them, for you to begin to think about activities in the sense of, what will this activity help me to do? What will this activity help my learners to achieve? That's the reason we're doing this. And we're going to bring up your table 9.2. We're going to bring that table up again as well. So I'm not going to create that table for you. You know how to use Word to create a table. You'll create a blank table and you will put your activities in those cells. So let me now go back to the assignment and see if there's anything else that I want to cover. Not really. Let's see, you did them. Oh, and then I have this little debate here. This is something that I thought might be fun because some of you are probably pulling your hair out with Gagne and Blooms. And I just wanted you to know that you're not alone. You are not. That's a song. That's Michael Jackson. Anyway, I want you to know that you are not alone. And but even for all the people that say that they're not relevant, this rebuttal makes a good case that there is some theory behind. There is a method to the madness. So there is some theory that substantiates what we do. Anyway, this was, and I always say this. This was not meant to be a difficult activity, but they seem to always turn difficult. I know, okay, I'm going to stop now. I may actually create another video for you that's not specific to this activity, just to talk about some general stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to post on the discussion board or to email me. But I think this ought to do it for you. Talk to you later. Bye.